Hello, true believers, and welcome back to another episode of Game-Rave TV. As always, I'm Jason. As the march towards the end of 1997 continues with our Living History project on Game-Rave.com, one of the system's best fighting games just happened to be released this month. While it was briefly covered 2 years ago in a subset collection, now is the perfect time to revisit it and begin the hype train for Avengers Infinity War. That game is, of course,
Marvel Superheroes!
Is the NBA Jam guy up there with you? Join me as we travel back to the year 1997, where Final Fantasy VII has been tearing apart the sales charts, and Capcom still knew how to dominate the arcades. After an amazingly successful #1 run in the malls, Capcom brought home Marvel Superheroes to the PlayStation and Saturn. For those not in the know, Marvel Superheroes takes Capcom's once golden fighting game formula of swapping in any character who could do a quarter circle motion and sending it to the manufacturing plant. In this case, they were following up on the fan-favorite X-Men Children of the Atom with a cast of more diverse characters who weren't necessarily X-Men, in this case Spider-Man and Captain America. At the core of the game and storyline rests the Infinity Gems, and yes, they are those Infinity Gems, or stones based on your vernacular. Each of the 6 gems have a specific ability trait granted to the player once used in combat. The player starts with a single gem, and as the game goes on they can acquire more from other characters. What makes this aspect fun is that each player can knock gems out of their opponent and vice versa to collect it for themselves. All 6 gems have powers related to their alignment. Soul will recover your life meter, power increases your damage ratio, mind builds up your super meter, and so on. Once you defeat the standard opponents along with Dr. Doom, the stones will be combined into the Infinity Gauntlet and used by the game's end boss, Thanos. These temporary stat bonuses are applied to the default Street Fighter engine gameplay, with fireballs, uppercuts, super moves, throws, and so on. Like Children of the Atom, these moves are a bit more exaggerated than their Street Fighter counterparts, which makes the game's visual combat fly off the screen in various eye-popping color bursts and so on. Besides all the martial special effects, stage damage gets a whole new boost as well. As the fight goes on, you can actually cause damage to the floor, blow up a star convention, and even collapse the bridge you're fighting Wolverine on. Speaking of sprites, Capcom's artists struck gold this time around. Some time ago I mentioned that the interesting way that Japanese artists handled American pop icons, and it's no different here. Spider-Man is as nimble and pliable as he always has been, Hulk is a giant mass of muscle, and of course, Psylocke is still damn near perfect from the original game. Character moves really feel great. Some of the best animation frames are ones you've seen before, like the insane ground pound punch Juggernaut throws. Other new characters include shuma-gorath, Blackheart, and Dr. Doom, along with the already mentioned Thanos. The most important aspect of a fighting game is the control, and after 20 years, Marvel Superheroes remains one of the smoothest and easiest fight clubs to jump into. As long as you can understand how to throw a quarter circle motion, you're in the club. Unlike Street Fighter, or even King of Fighters, you never feel like you're missing something. Combos flow like butter, and newbies to the series will have an easy starter character in Captain America, Spider-Man, or Psylocke, as they're all essentially just Ryu and Ken, just with flashier outfits. As stated, it was released on both the Saturn and the PlayStation, but the results aren't actually what you'd expect. Both versions are more or less on par with the other. PlayStation has a tiny bit more load times, but Saturn has a tinier sound set. Both experience slowdown, both have animations cut, but nothing too crazy. If you're a Saturn owner and have access to a Japanese 1MB RAM cartridge, you'll have access to a couple more crouching animations and some other minor tweaks. Regardless of those faults, and regardless of what platform you're on, you're in for one hell of a great ride. So let's talk tracking down a copy. I've got good news, bad news, and if you're a variant hunter, rage-quitting news. First, let's get the Sega Saturn out of the way, which is the bad news. A complete copy will run you about $90 to $100. If you're desperate enough to have the extra crouching animations, you can tack on another $20 or so for the 1MB RAM cartridge. Be warned though, it does not play nice with the 4MB cart. It'll actually cause more slowdown. Now the good news. Back here on the PlayStation, a full copy is averaging about $35 to $40, and it's super easy to come across. We're like multiple pages on eBay. If all you're looking for is the gameplay, you're set. That leaves us with the variant hunters. There are 4 known versions of the game in total right now: Plain, Fighter's Edge, Sweepstakes Edition, and Target Phone Tip Edition. The first 2 are self-explanatory, but the latter half are the problem children. The games and cases themselves aren't the issue. Those are easy. It's what's inside of them that's the problem. The Target Phone Card Edition included a prepaid tip line card attached to a small branded piece of cardboard. The Sweepstakes edition came with a small scratch-off card with the world's tiniest fine print ever. If you scratched off the card, you got your chance at an arcade machine, a PlayStation, or your choice of console version of the game. These two enclosures are nightmare fuel to find, for the simple fact they were designed to be disposable. No one's going to keep a scratch-off card if they lose, and if they won, they'd have to send it in for proof. The card would have been tossed after realizing you wasted 15 minutes of your life listening to the recording of something you already read in the gaming magazine. If you do go after these, you'll need to keep the most vigilant of watches. That being said, may God have mercy on any fool I see abusing this video to try and price gouge someone. You know who you are. You can check out the games page at Game-Rave.com for close-ups of all the variants too, so you're not hunting in the dark. Alright, that does it for this episode. Episode 98 will be used as an announcement video for some fun things we're doing towards episode 100, while Pause Mode will continue as usual. Like the video, subscribe, yada yada yada, you know the drill. Your question of the week is, who was your favorite character in Marvel superheroes to use, and what was your most memorable fight sequence, win or lose? Most of mine are losses. Comment below and let's get the conversation started. As always, play, laugh, and love. I'll see you next week.